All right, welcome back, everyone. It's David, aka Fairmere4731, bringing you another battle on the Finland map. Yeah, I know, always Finland map, but I love it. Our friends love it, so that's what we're doing. It's a friends battle, again 4v4. My friend MTS is going to be on my right flank. He's going to be playing as Prussia. I'm going to be taking up the top center as Sweden. My friend Gunny will be taking up France in the middle center. And then Metehan is going to be taking up the bottom flank as Prussia. So the two Prussias on the flank. And then we're going to be opposed by my other friends. It's going to be on the bottom, working their way up. Playing as America is going to be Lone Wolf. Then in the center on the bottom is going to be MoonLightKight. The one on the top is going to be playing as America is going to be Deluxe, and then as the Ottomans is going to be Kapi. And here you see on the very tip top of the hill, facing off versus MTS, Kapi's getting himself a couple great charges in with his deli cab. Got a shot with the deli on the light dragoons, then went right into his Jaegers here. So he's causing massive disruption there. So MTS is under quite a bit of pressure. He's got his lines forward, but they're all packed up quite compact. And now you can see that Deluxe and Kapi have intermingled their forces quite nicely. And now Deluxe is coming up with a goon charge. So he's going to now provide some firing in on MTS's men. And you did see a couple of Kapi's deli horsemen route off there. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. But his Pandukes are up. His light infantry are up here, ready to shoot down to cover for Mr. Deluxe's light dragoons. So, yeah, it's pretty intense up here right now. All the action is going to be taking place in the mine and in MTS's flank right now on our side. So, here you can see I've got my rifles providing some support for MTS. And I'm going to be thrusting my army completely forward versus these guys to start taking some pressure off of MTS. We don't fully know how much units they're facing, so I've got to push forward to find out how big of an army I'm facing here in the center. And Gunny is going to bring up some lines in the center to help support, but that will be later. You'll see them come up. And you can see here on the top of the hill, Kapi is going to start rolling his light infantry over, but they're 90 range versus my 125. So I'm going to be able to keep my distance from them and lay down some nice shots on them and really whittle them down. So very, very nice there. That works out very well for me. So you're going to see I'm going to thrust most of my action here to the very center of the map. But you're going to see on the center hill, kind of in the background as I pan away from it, MoonLightKight's going to be bringing some men in the center there, so I'll have to kind of thrust out in the very center to try to drive a wedge between them. So I'm going to be taking up the woodland here, and my goal is to hold on to this woodland. That way they cannot reinforce against MTS. And so far that's working out fairly well for me. I've inflicted quite a bit of damage to them. Got my militia just thrusting forward to cover for my advance. And you can see MTS has now secured the hill alongside of me. So far so good. I'm going to roll my rifles down to more of the center. And you can see Gunny is going to be coming up with cav support. Okay, and at this point you're going to see I'm going to have to start bending my formation back because I'm getting flanked over here coming off the top of the hill. Luckily MTS is bringing some men up to reinforce, but he is also under quite a bit of pressure from the top, so they're starting to bring some elite units like 1st Maryland and such to fend off against him. But he should be pretty good in that he is facing a numerically inferior force, as I'm facing off against a pretty good majority of it in the center here. So again, continuing to hold here in the center, I am going to start dismounting my light dragoons. This is a new tactic I've been using. with the light dragoons, and in this, this is, I believe, the first time I attempt to do this, and I think it works pretty well. You're able to get less damage done on you because they're not mounted on horseback. And I'll show you some other advantages as the battle weans on. As you can see here, they're trying to make an assault right now to push me out of the woodland. So I am trying to hold on as best I can. I do have another row of line to throw in for support, and also Gunny has a row of lines behind that. And at this point, I'm going to start committing my light dragoons. The reason I'm putting them in this spot is because it is a very compact area, and I can unleash a lot of firepower with very few men. Alright. So at this point, you see that I do get charged, but I do fend off that charge, and I am continuing to hold in pretty well. Since I'm in the woodlands, that is providing me quite a bit of protection. My rifles shooting from a little bit further back are actually helping quite a bit, so I'm applying quite a devastating blow here in the center. Things are going quite well for us there, and we are, I would say, doing a real good job of winning this. And you can see Gunny getting some cab charges in there in the dead center. And this is where my rifles were. Okay, and at this point, you can hear the grenades going off as Kapi is going to start throwing some grenades onto MTS. But he is going to quickly pull back. He does see my light dragoons coming up to face him, shoot him in the back. So he does fold out of that wisely. But quite a bit of these units that Deluxe had in there, MTS has been able to push out. And you can see here my light dragoons helping to shoot up that flank. Now you can see we're just slugging it out. Now they've been losing units, and I haven't been, so they're going to fold back, and which I think was a very wise move. They're going back to the next row of woodland to try to get protection there, and we are, you can see here, I'm getting grenades thrown on me as well. Or no, that was actually MTS. But I will be coming under a grenade assault here pretty quickly. Kapi's actually going to get a really nice grenade throw on my light dragoons, which is going to hurt me. And you can see here, I believe, is that push. Yeah, this one's going to hurt a bit. Here they go. Yeah, this one's going to sting. You can see Gunny's got his line right there that's going to shoot into that flank as he's come up to throw. So that's going to wipe him out as I pull my light dragoons back after getting grenaded. You can see I did lose pretty good, a decent amount of my light dragoons in that. As I start off with 75 being Sweden. Now they're intensifying their push here in the center to drive us back. And Gunny has reinforced that center as MoonLightKight has reinforced their center as well. So, as I am now starting to push out into the open ground, I have my rifles in a position where I can support in two different directions. I can support the center, which I'm going to now roll, or you can see I was supporting the top. So I'll be able to just roll back and forth on which area of the ground that needs support for my long-range rifles. So I'm in a really good spot with my rifles, and I'm sitting right up next to Gunny's Tierlers. And you can see now they're gonna, it's a lot of back and forth right here. My light dragoons are holding up the kind of my right flank still, and they're gonna do a bang up job for me over there. And I've rolled my rifles back to hold off the other side again. As you can see, Gunny is making a bulky charge here in the center But I don't think he realized, or I realized, how much units Moon Knight had moved over to this part of the battlefield. So, as you can see, the Bulkley's starting to stack up over here versus these Janissaries. So the Janissaries is a very good unit. Bulkleys are quite a bit better, but those Janissaries are going to do a great job just tying him up. And here comes in a cav charge to reinforce his Janissaries, and it is going to provide a heck of a good boost. As you can see now, I'm going to be reinforcing with some of my line. It's critical that we break this point. And we are going to commit a lot of units to it. And as well as they. Unfortunately, they're able to commit way more than we are. And you can see here my Light Dragoons have taken some damage, but I have knocked out some of that forces that were in front of me. And he's about to rout there. And MTS is completely taken the flank. So the top of the hill is now ours, and we can start march downwards. So MTS is at the extreme heights, and we are now going to be able to just work our way downward. And at this point, we really need him to push fast and hard, and he is kind of coming down a little slower than we need to. Now at this point, this charge right here by Moon Knight is absolutely exceptional. So what he's going to do, I'm breaking this line here, you can see, then he hits me, and you can see my flag starting to waver. And that was a really good line right there. I am going to be able to hold it too by forming square, but now he's going to bounce right to the next unit and cause disruption there. And then he's going to pull his cav out. So extremely good cav charges there to really disrupt what we're trying to do, because at that point when I broke that line, I could have rolled that around and pushed that out, and we could have probably broken that center right there. Alright, so at this point, I do pull that line back, and I form up with some of my reinforcing lines. And since we have broken the center finally, I'm going to start trying to push my lines down, because you can see here at the center, Gunny is pushed out, and he is starting to lose that fight. So I need to really start breaking through that top so that I can provide support. Because if Gunny loses that fight there, we lose the whole center on the bottom part. And it looks like a lot of his units are starting to waver there. So he is about to lose that fight. So I feel a lot of pressure at this point to win that. Because also the other thing is all these units will be able to flank not only Meta at the bottom, but also flank me at the top. So this is a pretty crucial fight. Unfortunately, my guys are tired from that melee fight from earlier, but I'm going to reinforce with everything I got there in that center. And you can see here, they seems like they have quite a bit of units at the top, but really they don't. So I'm hoping that they can push down off that top a lot quicker than what they are. Okay. So I'm finally, I really should have probably lined that unit up to fight in volleying out on him versus going into melee, and same with this one. But I guess when you're under pressure, sometimes you don't think very well. But I thought they were depleted, so I thought I might be able to push through and win it. And really, that was a bad decision on my part. And here these Light Dragoons have got me sandwiched in, and I'm no match for that. So even though their units here in the center are fairly weakened, the type of units they are is going to really break me. And you can see the center has broken. Gunny's down to 2 very depleted units. This fight in the center is being lost, and obviously the top is extremely in our favor. So I've got to make the right choice here, and I'm going to start folding this back. As you can see, I am under melee right here by one of the Janissaries from Kapi. Or that might have been Moon Knight, I can't remember for sure. So I'm going to have to start pulling out of this. Those 3 Light Dragoons, the Deluxes, are starting to just continue to shoot at me with free will. Which Deluxe is very good at that. So here you're going to see I'm folding back. I still got some very pivotal units. And that means a lot. Which the units are, I have a Grenadier. I got all my light dragoons still left and all my rifles. So even though my rifles have shot a lot and I don't have an extreme amount of ammo with them, they are still very pivotal units, and I don't want to lose those units because they could be game changers for us. So since Gunny's lines at the top and MTS's lines at the top are sweeping down, they have more than enough force to handle and fill in that void. And you can see here at the bottom flank, the fight has now started, and Meta has dropped one of his light dragoons off, and I think this is actually an accident because that happens sometimes. He's going to end up losing all of his cav based on that. So you can see I've got all 4 of my light dragoons going back to their horses to mount up, and my rifles are going to have to unfortunately make the long way around the center hill because I can't use the Valley of Death as a passage because he is going to have his rifles close to that top of the hill. So I got to come around the long way to reinforce Metehan. So here you can see they have commenced some cav charges on the flank. He is very isolated where he should be pulling back to link up with us. He is committed to this fight. So I'm committed to getting down there as fast as I can to help him before he dies. Now here I make a pretty bad move. I should have taken 2 of my light dragoons at least to shoot that top center there of Meta's flank. Instead I choose to bring all 4 of my light dragoons down. And you can see here at the top it is still holding on. And here we're at the extreme bottom of the fight now. And I'm trying to get my light dragoons in there to help that pivotal flank right here on the far left. But his general is right in the way, and I don't want to shoot his general because then all of his units will break. So I've got to really time out my charge there, and I still end up clipping a few of his general's bodyguards there. But I needed to provide some extra fire support for his lines because he's way outmatched. And here again I'm going to commence another charge after I reloaded. Power editing, you can see it without all the reloading. And I timed it out where after his lines had already volleyed, so I'm not going to take a lot of those shots, but I do leave my guys in there long enough so they do end up reloading and getting 1 line fires on me. So again, now I'm going to back out and get reloaded, and we're going to get right back to it and give him another volley. This is the powers of the light dragoons. Now you can see some of my horses are empty, and that's because I lost some of my men when I dismounted them. And this is the beauty of it. When you mount your guys back up, all the horses come with them. So when you charge into people, you actually get a little bit better force out of your charges because you got the horses. So here you can see my rifles and my Grenadier and that 1 line I have left are under a little bit of duress from the Ottoman center here. But I do end up, by how I fall back, does force him to roll that unit back. Unfortunately, I was still reloading, so I didn't get any shots on him. But I got to quickly move back because he's being reinforced by the units coming off the top of the hill. Now, I do get cav charged by, I believe, the general's bodyguard right there. And it is going to break some of my units, but one of them is going to come back. Because I did get my Grenadier up there in time. So that at least was my line infantry up there in time. So I am going to save at least a few of my units out of this. Although I do lose, I believe, 2 out of it. One of them routes and does come back. Yeah. So here you can see they only have 1 unit left at the top. Gunny's in melee with it. I think both of them end up routing out of that. You can see here I'm just continuing to bring my light dragoons up, getting volleys on them, using Meta's lines as a little bit of fire support for me. And here I'm going to stand my ground here. He's going to try that general charge again, but I got my rifles that came back. Is going to make him think twice about that as he sees his general's going to start getting shot. He's going to pull out of that fight. And also I'm right by the stake line. So I come out of this one way for the better. and I end up breaking one of the Janissaries. And I am being supported now by my cav. And I'm going to get a little reckless with one of my cav units. I'm going to try to break this Balic Janissary, which I'm going to end up doing. But I do push right into the stake line. Because he's right by the stake line, I do end up going into it. Now MTS is finally starting to support. You can see his units have already made it down here. So now we've got their flank has been pincered in now by our reinforcing Prussian army from the top of the hill. And here come the rest of my light dragoons up to give some fire support. So as MTS is coming in behind them with his Prussian army, I'm going to be reinforcing Meta's very depleted units here on our bottom left flank. Okay, so here comes a nice little charge because I'm so aggressive this way. I'm going to time this out and I'm going to push my lines and my rifles, my grenadiers, everything I got right up. Right after I give this cav charge off, I hit every one of his lines with the last 3 light dragoons I got. You can see I start wavering his lines, even break one. I'm going to immediately push my light dragoons through. You can see my green lines behind. So I got the charge bonus, push them through, and now my lines are starting to open up on them. One of them did rout. I believe it was the line infantry. But my rifles and my grenadiers are point blank on them. And one of them was a marine, and we end up breaking that marine. And I'm commencing some cav charges here now on the other side of the woodland. Or, no, I'm still on the same side right here. I think I got my other cav on the other side of the woodland, right to the left. Right to the left. The other right to the left. Yeah, sorry. Making it more confusing than what it needs to be. Okay, so here's the other light dragoon. I pushed it through the woodland, and I'm hitting their back of their army with that, where MTS is coming to support. Here's my other light dragoon. One of them already routed out, but I'm continuing to hammer them right here. We do end up killing their general. So we got now 2 of their generals dead on the floor, but unfortunately both of my light dragoons are about done here. I think I still have the one over by MTS. Now Meta does fall back too far. It's unfortunate he did pull back that far because my disruption, he could probably gotten some really great shots in there, but definitely understand why he did pull back. So here I'm starting to get a couple shots in the back of these Cairo Janissaries. Lucky for me. And now we're getting to the end of the battle, and it's actually looking pretty grim for us, because you can see here coming back out of the woodland, he still has a lot of units, Lone Wolf, that are very well intact. And so you can see here in the fight with this Cairo Janissary still, I've got to break this. My rifles are now out of ammo, so I'm going to send them into melee while my grenadiers continue to fire on them, and that ends up breaking them. You can see MTS's forces are coming down. We've got them pincered right up against the red line, but again, we are very depleted now. Obviously, Meta doesn't have enough men on that flank, and I don't believe MTS does either, and MTS's men are all extremely tired. So I've got to do something to break this up, and Gunny had a great idea. He's like, use your grenadiers. It's like, oh my god, I forgot about my grenadiers. So I'm going to use my rifle, which is out of ammo. I'm going to throw him forward. He's going to absorb all the volleys, and I'm going to throw him into melee while my grenadiers are going to come up, and here we go. Time to chunk them, boys. It looked like one of the grenadiers didn't throw, but we're just going to keep throwing, and this is really going to kind of turn the tide. As you can see, they got some full stacks of lines right here, and these grenade throws are really going to help disrupt what they're doing. As you can see, I took out quite a few right there, and there's another volley coming in. Here they come. That really takes a chunk out of that line, and now this is going to disrupt what he wants to do. It's going to force him into a panic. He's got to do something to kill my grenadiers. So he is going to try to take one of his lines over, and I'm still getting some grenade throws on him. This gives us time for MTS to get over and also Meta's remaining forces over. And yeah, I think those grenadiers just did their lion's share of work here. Now they're going to get some melee in. So they're tagging up this unit, which was a pretty decent unit right now in melee. And it's just going to be shot up by everything in the vicinity while my grenadiers are in melee. So I'm going to end up losing all my remaining units right here. So it's going to be up to my allies to win it the rest of the way. But I think I've probably given them a decent shot at it. It looks like my light infantry, my rifle is still in melee with this line. Yep, here's all the dead generals. Mine was my grenadier, so he just bit the dust. And here goes my last unit, my rifle. He's done. But we did tag up them for quite a while. And now that provides us a little bit of an advantage right now. Not a great one. It's still down to wire, folks. So here we are. It's a massive scruff here to the bitter end. All these units are very depleted. They're going to commence a general charge, general to general fight here in the woods. So I can't remember who wins that fight. But nonetheless, it looks like it was their generals won the fight. And here goes another general fighting down here. Gosh, I'm not even sure whose general that is. Can't tell if it's American general or it looks like the Prussian. So that would be Meta's general. So he's getting involved in a little fight. So there goes one of our generals, and one of their generals is gone. So yeah, it's that kind of a fight. I think everybody's general's dead now. So you can see here that pretty much about wraps it up. We got it from there. And you can see our kill counts right there. And we just barely pull out a win. Really hard fought match. Kapi and MoonLightKight, Deluxe, and Lone Wolf put up a hell of a fight. So great job to them. Great job to my allies in this fight. It was a lot of fun. This is a great battle. Really enjoyed it a lot. You can see some of my units, the kills that they ended up getting. So anyways, thanks again. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.